here's the issue with the WNBA, and I'm going to repeat a mantra. It is the most unlikable league and culture in all of sports by far. And I'm talking from the players to some of the ownership, to all the media members, to the podcasters, to those who defend it. It's the most unlikable league in the whole wide world. And this is just another piece of evidence to support that statement.
The WNBA was supposed to have its savior, a once-in-a-generation talent, a household name before she ever played a professional game. A player so magnetic she packed arenas and shattered TV records from the moment she arrived. But instead of embracing her, the league has done the unthinkable. It has turned its greatest gift into its greatest liability. Behind the highlights and polished press conferences lies a league consumed by politics and division, now being labeled one of the most unlikable cultures in sports. And the proof doesn't come from critics or rivals. It comes from how the WNBA has treated the one player who could secure its future. Caitlin Clark's decision to reject a life-changing, multimillion-dollar offer wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a mistake, and it wasn't about loyalty to a league that pays her pennies while cashing in on her name. It was a calculated move. A trap, one the WNBA warped into with eyes wide open. And now they can't find a way out. What Clark just did might not only expose the league's corruption, it could shake the entire system. To understand her brilliance, you first have to understand the bait. That bait came from Unrivaled, a new league co-founded by Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier. When they approached Clark, they didn't just offer a contract, they offered an empire. Over $1 million for just 8 to 10 weeks of basketball, more than 13 times her rookie WNBA salary of just $76,535. The insult is obvious. Clark fills arenas, drives record-breaking ratings, and generates millions in sponsorships, yet she earns less than a mid-level office worker. But the money wasn't even the biggest part. The real hook was equity, ownership, a stake in the league itself. For the first time, Clark wasn't being treated as replaceable. She was being given power, something the WNBA has never even considered handing her. Even Unrivaled's own founders admitted the truth everyone else was thinking. Clark was being exploited. She should already be among the highest-paid players in the world. That wasn't speculation. It was a confession. Proof the WNBA has been content to use Clark as a marketing tool while denying her fair value. So when this deal surfaced, the assumption was simple. Of course she'd take it. Why wouldn't she? More money, more respect, more freedom. It looked like the perfect exit from a league that treats her like an ATM while paying her spare change.
Is another reason why Caitlin Clark needs to flee the WNBA. It's a political organization. They're not serious about business. They don't care about traditional sports fans. It's a little cult that puts out little political statements and everybody wears vote t-shirts. They don't care about making money. They don't care really about building up this league and making it profitable. They're a charity. She needs to flee the WNBA and start her own league.
What made Clark's decision so stunning wasn't what she gained, but what she gave up. Instead of seizing the opportunity, she walked away. When Caitlin Clark turned down the offer, the sports world froze. It wasn't just surprising, it was unthinkable. Who declines $1 million salary and a stake in an entire league? Who passes up ownership, financial freedom, and a chance to escape a system stacked against them? The media scrambled for answers. Some said she wanted rest. Others argued she needed to focus on her rookie season. A few pointed to her endorsement deals, claiming she didn't need the extra money. But every one of those explanations missed the truth. Clark's decision wasn't about fatigue, endorsements, or loyalty to the WNBA. It was about sending a message. By walking away from what seemed like the perfect escape, Clark showed she wasn't chasing checks. She was chasing control. This wasn't convenience. It was confrontation. While the WNBA was bogged down in politics, Clark was playing a larger game, one that stretched far beyond basketball. She didn't just turn down Unrivaled's offer. She weaponized it. She rejected millions to spotlight something bigger, the broken system she was stuck inside. And that's why her choice cut so deep. It didn't just stay within sports pages. It spilled into the national spotlight. Suddenly, the story wasn't about wins, losses, or salaries. It was about exploitation, protection, and power. And that's when the federal government stepped in. Former White House staffer Sean Mullen publicly called for a federal investigation into the WNBA, describing Clark as the victim of a textbook hostile work environment. Not just tough play, not rookie hazing, a systemic campaign of abuse enabled, if not encouraged, by the league itself. The evidence, hard to dismiss. In her rookie season alone, Clark absorbed 6 flagrant fouls, a total some veterans never reach across entire careers. She's been blindsided by body checks, shoved to the floor, and hammered by deliberate fouls. 10 games missed. 10 from injuries that could have been avoided if the league truly protected its biggest star. Even opponents began to speak up. Phoenix Mercury guard Sophie Cunningham admitted outright, the league isn't protecting Clark. Think about that. Not a fan. Not a journalist. A competitor acknowledging the league has left its brightest star exposed. And from the top, silence. No meaningful suspensions. No major fines. No defense of Clark. The WNBA treated every hit, every shove, every injury as routine, while their most valuable player absorbed the damage. That's why the hostile work environment accusations hit so hard. Because the injuries are real. The bruises are real. And the league's inaction doesn't look like oversight. It looks like complicity. But the targeting didn't end on the court. It stretched to the Olympic stage. The snub that followed was more than questionable. It was political. Veteran reporter Christine Brennan revealed in her upcoming book that Clark never had a chance to make the team. Not because she lacked talent, her numbers and impact said otherwise, but because her spot was sacrificed to make room for Diana Taurasi. A legend, yes, but one past her prime. The decision wasn't about winning gold. It was about preserving hierarchy. Even Weiss reports claim officials feared including Clark would overshadow veterans if she didn't get enough minutes. So instead of showcasing the best player for the moment, they shut her out entirely. She wasn't snubbed for lack of skill. She was excluded for being too good, too popular, too undeniable. The message was clear. This wasn't about competition. It was about control. When Indiana Fever coach Christy Sides delivered the news, Clark's response wasn't anger. It was warning. They woke a monster. Not defiance. Prophecy. Because what followed proved just how much the WNBA needs her, and how fragile the league is without her. For decades, the WNBA excused struggles with the same refrain. We're growing. Give us time. But when Clark arrived, those excuses collapsed under hard numbers. Viewership for her games averaged 1.81 million. Arenas sold out. Teams scrambled into bigger venues. Merchandise surged. For the first time in decades, the league wasn't just surviving, it was surging. But when Clark missed 10 games with injuries, ratings fell off a cliff, down 55%. Average viewership collapsed to 847,000. That's not a dip, it's a free fall. The kind of collapse that terrifies networks, advertisers, and sponsors. The truth was undeniable. This league isn't standing on collective strength. It's standing on Caitlin Clark. And yet, instead of protecting her, the league treated her like a disposable asset. A short-term cash machine, not the cornerstone of its future. It wasn't just short-sighted. It was destructive. That's why her rejection of Unrivaled's $1 million deal wasn't foolish. It was strategic. She proved she wasn't chasing money. She was claiming leverage. Her refusal reframed everything. Overnight, Clark went from the exploited rookie to the athlete willing to sacrifice millions to prove the system is broken. And no one sacrifices that kind of money without a larger fight. Her move cracked open the door for others. The players' union seized the moment, announcing they were opting out of the collective bargaining agreement early, 3 years ahead of schedule. Union President Nneka Ogwumike called it a defining moment. Translation: patience was over. The fight was on. It wasn't coincidence. It was coordination. Clark's sacrifice became the rallying cry. If even the star holding this league together is being exploited, what chance do the rest of us have? Federal investigators circling from the outside. A players' rebellion building from the inside. For decades, the WNBA existed in a bubble, sheltered from accountability. Caitlin Clark shattered it.